Hey man, this is the A-Man Show and I'm back for more content. This is one of the most anticipated videos I want to make for such a while, even since I started blogging the Horrible Amino app. By the way, shout out to them. This is one of the most talked about topics in the community, and that is who is the best big man in the NBA. Now, what's coming on your minds is centers, and yes, players like Jokic, Embiid, Cat, all them guys, but centers and power forwards all together. And the two guys who's not only the absolute best in their position, but they're also one of the best players in the NBA. Those guys are Giannis and AD. In this video, we're going to discuss who's the better player overall, and we're adjusting them based on their playing ability, postseason play, intangibles, and how valuable they are for their teams. So we're going to look decisively on both transition generational talent players. And by the way, this is not biased. I am not going off of favorites. This is a fact-based video, and I'm trying to make this fair for the both of them. Before the video starts, make sure y'all subscribe to my channel. I post NBA and NFL content, and also click on the notification bell so that way y'all don't miss a video. Anyways, Lego.
I pay my dues, now I'm a made man. I call my fame, now I'm a made man. You never see me again. I got the juice, now I'm a made man.
Giannis has cemented himself as arguably the best player in the NBA. Throughout his time in the NBA, he has shown constant improvement from being a project to a generational talent. He has been a four-time All-Star, made All-NBA 3 times, made a defensive team 3 times, and is a MVP. This season, he is on pace to go back-to-back in MVPs and also on pace to have one of the highest player efficiency ratings in league history. Giannis is one of the most athletic, versatile, if not one of the most athletic and versatile big guys in league history. A player who can dribble like a two guard, can finish with brute force, has a quick first step, can post up. In fact, he's one of the most dominant post-up bigs since Shaq, and at the defensive end, he can guard 1 through 5, probably the best out of any big man, and is a great rim protector. So basically, he's an all-around nightmare. He managed to average 30 points without a jump shot. Now his shooting improved this year by year, but it's still not good enough or even average enough to say that he's a respectable shooter. That's probably the only significant weakness in his game, meaning that he's one game away from being impossible to guard. Yes, he is extremely hard to guard in general, but he's not literally impossible to guard. Well, because of the Raptors series last year, which I'm going to get into later on this video. Not to mention, he can play make as he gets everyone involved also. He has shown that he can be a leader on a finals team, and his drive and willingness to want to improve is Kobe-like. Since we discussed how good he is talent-wise, his accolades and intangibles alone, now we should look at his postseason history. Giannis is 17-7 in 34 starts, excusing his first playoff series as which he was around 19 or 20 years old, and the Bucks were the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. Looking at the playoff stats, he looks relatively the same player comparing to the regular season, but in his first 3 postseason berths, he did not make it out of the first round until 2019, where he led the Bucks to the 1st seed, and that playoff series in the first round, Giannis was simply as amazing in the regular season. Plus, he has a much better supporting cast that caused them to go 8-1 in the playoffs until the Raptors with Kawhi figure out how to shut down Giannis, and that led them coming up short in the East Finals. So at 25 years old, Giannis is as accomplished as KD, LeBron, and even Michael Jordan at the same age despite his playoff shortcomings. But guess what? These players I mentioned had the same shortcomings as Giannis. Despite KD and LeBron making it to the finals, they weren't close to winning a championship until later on in their career. In MJ's case, he never made it out of the first round until Scottie got drafted, but that's another discussion on another day. So I discussed how great he is talent-wise. His body of work and his accolades is on par with the elite players today, and not only today, but other NBA legends. Anthony Davis has been one of the most dominant big men in the last decade, and that's reflected as excluding his rookie year, he averaged 25 points, 10 rebounds on 52% shooting, and he made the All-Star game 6 times, and is a 3-time All-NBA player and made All-Defensive Team 3 times. Not even mentioning his best season of his career, as which he averaged 28 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists on 53% shooting, and 34% from 3. Since Cousins tore his Achilles in the month of January of 2018, he was a monster, having multiple 40-point games that led him to be top 3 in MVP voting. Davis can score at will. He can shoot the mid-range and even from 3 as well as a big man. When you're setting up the pick and roll, Davis is by far the best roller in the NBA. That's why him and LeBron setting up the pick and roll is nearly unstoppable to stop. And he can also dribble too a little bit. So I'm just going through how great of a defender he is, as this man is one of the most dominant defensive players probably in the last decade, as he accumulated 2.4 blocks and averaged 1 steal as a big man. He has been an elite defender since day one. As for intangibles, he's vocal, but he isn't as much of a leader than Giannis or even elevate his team further. Despite all of that, he is still one of the best players in the NBA. We can talk about his incredible feats, but the thing that we need to point out is his lack of playoff success. And I know that he played with the Pelicans, who at that time was one of the worst organizations in the league, and he was playing in a tough Western Conference as they featured KD in the Warriors and the Rockets. He made the playoffs about 2 times, and one, they were the 8th seed going against the first seeded Warriors, and who that in that time won the championship in 2015. And not only they were bounced in the first round, but they got swept. Despite Davis averaging 32 points, 11 rebounds on 54% shooting. And the second time, they were the underdogs against the third-seeded Blazers, and not only they upsetted the Blazers, but they absolutely mollywalked the Blazers, sweeping them in 4 games. AD was simply a force to be reckoned with. He averaged 33 points, 12 rebounds, 3 blocks on an insane 58% shooting and 30% from 3. And he did all that without DeMarcus Cousins. But later that ended as the Warriors super team with Durant beat him in 6 games. AD's entire playoff career, he averaged 31 points, 13 rebounds, 2 assists on 52% shooting, along with 2 steals and 3 blocks. Now, everything out of the way, let's make a comparison between Giannis and AD. Let's look at talent. Talent is probably the hardest topic to judge off of both of them. Although AD had a much career point per game average than Giannis, he simply played more games because, one, he was drafted before Giannis, so that doesn't count. I'm simply judging the way they score the basketball. And for AD, it takes more work for AD to score the basketball, although he has more skill than Giannis. But in 3 seasons, AD played about 35 minutes, including his best season where he played 36 minutes per game. As for Giannis, this year he's averaging 30 points on 54% shooting and an improving 31% from 3 on 5 attempts. Giannis' finishing ability is unmatched, and even when teams game plan to stop Giannis, they still couldn't stop his black ass. Well, except Kawhi, but he's a different breed. He's essentially a more athletic Shaq, a guy that can score with sheer dominance without a jump shot. He still managed to average 30 points with only playing 30 minutes. I think that takes the cake for the scoring category for Giannis, man. For rebounding, I'll give it to AD because he's a better offensive rebounder. He grabs more rebounds than Giannis and grabs as many defensive rebounds than Giannis. For playmaking, I'm giving it to Giannis simply because, like I said before, he gets everyone involved. His presence alone is too risky for a team to be left alone, and that makes opportunities to let Middleton and Brook Lopez flourish, as Giannis is not only the initiator of the offense, but he's the engine. As for AD, doesn't really necessarily initiate the offense, as he relies sometimes on his point guards to get him going. Sure, Giannis needs the ball more than AD, but when you're talking about playmaking in general, Giannis is by far the better playmaker, and plus, he averaged more assists and is a better passer. Next, we're looking at defense. Now, defensively, they're neck and neck based on rim protection and overall post-up defense. Both of them are extremely strong at guarding at the post, but still I'm giving the spot to Giannis because his ability to guard 1 through 5 is so elite that he deserves to be called a pest on defense. As for AD, he has the ability to guard 1 through 5, but he isn't as great with switching and not as quick on his feet than Giannis. Really, Giannis has a better defensive IQ because his ability to read the opponent's offense before the play even begins is superb. So based on talent wise, I'm giving it to Giannis, plus the accolades. He has won an MVP and he's going to win it again this year. Really, he should have been unanimous. That tramples him over AD, despite AD having more all-star appearances in all NBA teams. Let's look at the intangibles. Giannis has a Mamba-like mentality. He's willing to improve on his game every year. He's one of the hardest workers in the NBA, and he has proven to be a clear-cut leader on this team. As for AD, he never really was that vocal or even a leader that can elevate his team. Season success, I'm giving it to, you guessed it, Giannis. Now, this was the hardest to pick because AD in the postseason, man, he was something else, but he didn't make it out the second round. Sir, AD has better playoff stats than Giannis, but let's not act like Giannis underperformed. Excluding that 2015 year, Giannis averaged 25 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists on 56% shooting and 33% from 3. Compared to the regular season, that's really a little or no drop off in stats at all. But here's the thing. Giannis' stats leads them to wins. It led them to the Eastern Final. Now, I know AD played in a tough West, but yet again, you play to win, not just put up amazing stats, and Anthony Davis has failed to make it out the first or second round, or even making it to the playoffs. Since Giannis emerged, the Bucks made it to the playoffs every year. So all of the stats taken care of, the winner is Giannis, and let me say he has won in significant fashion. This was a fun topic to talk about because you can make the case that Anthony Davis is a better basketball player, but in my opinion, Giannis is better, and I back my statement up by stats and context. Giannis has shown that he's a player you can win a championship with, and AD can also do that. It's just Giannis is just more dominant, and with more playoff experience, he's just a player that you can most likely win a championship with. And that's all I got for y'all. If y'all really enjoyed this video, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more NBA and NFL content, and click on the notification bell so that way y'all don't miss a video. And that always, guys, this is the A-Man Show. Sign out.